Let's talk about what war gear a Wastelander needs. Hi guys, Hounds Armor here, and today we are looking at my war gear or my garb from Nukelanta spring of 2021. Nukelanta is a Fallout themed LARP that I got to attend for the first time this spring. Before we get into the garb and the gear though, let me just say the YouTube things of, if you're new here or if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It helps me a lot. And as I'm pre-recording this and I have no clue when this video is going up, I have no clue what the current subscriber count is, but I'm sure it's insane because it always is. That being said, if you want to help me get to more events like Nukelanta or End Wars in the future, please consider supporting me on Patreon or getting some merch from my Teespring. Links to both of those will be down in the description. So with all that junk out of the way, let's get into it. So as always, talking about a loadout, let's talk about what clothes I'm wearing underneath it because that's important. Starting from the bottom, I was wearing boots. Yes, boots by Oboes. I love these boots. They've survived a couple years of me just wearing them almost exclusively through the winter. They're very waterproof. They're very comfortable. Give great ankle and back support, and I really like them. They're nothing like super fancy, super like combat. They're just hiking boots that work. And especially for shoes, that is more important than looking good, is your shoes working well for you and then being comfortable, because your shoes will mess you up. Socks, of course, with the boots, because you gotta wear socks or blisters. I was going for a more pedestrian look for this character I was portraying, which if you haven't already, go watch my story time after action report, because it was a weird character. It was a lot of fun. So I just wore jeans and this long sleeve t-shirt. Nothing fancy about the jeans, just blue jeans with a belt to hold them up. This is a tech like workout shirt, which I really like. It helps with the sweat away from your body really well. Keeps you from getting too like gross and stewy, especially when you're out in the woods for a weekend. Going further down, I am wearing my fingerless war gloves at this point. They're just work gloves from like Lowe's or something that I picked up for like 15, maybe 20 bucks. They're proving to be very durable and very comfortable, and they work great, especially when we get to what blaster I was running. Finally, I was wearing a watch. This is a Shark leash. I really like it. And as a note, anything I can find links to on Amazon, I will put in the description below. So if you like the kinds of things I'm running, you can maybe emulate it. So now let's move on from the clothes. So after your clothing and your garb, the most important thing, to me at least, when putting together a loadout is what blasters or weapons you are using, as your gear should support what you're using. So I used the Shellington Arms lever blaster all weekend. This is a fly point shell using Kingsgate loading magazine tube lever action shell ejecting monstrosity by the wonderful brains of GDOP and Mr. Heathpants. This is a beta test model. I don't know when the hardware kits and the files will become available, but they should be in the next year or so. And there will be a lot more content on this coming. A good note was I built this, like, I got it put together like 2 days before the event. I barely got to test it, just enough testing to realize that with K26 it hit too hard, and so I had to throw in a mystery spring and a deploy spring to get it to hit 100 FPS to make the cut, and it actually survived all weekend very well. Again, there'll be more content on this on my channel soon, but I love this thing and it's great. Other than that, the other blaster I had on me for about half of Saturday was just a Sweet Revenge. If you're a fan of the channel for a while, you know I love my Sweet Revenges. They usually hang right there on my wall, and they're my go-to sidearm. They're reliable, they're comfortable, they're easy to holster. I was basically just running the lever gun all weekend until like Saturday afternoon, when the narrative started to really pick up and people started to get a little aggressive and bad things were bound to happen. If you haven't, go watch the after action report. I go into all the shenaniganery that happened. And so I picked this up and threw on a holster because, well, I ended up needing it. So those are my blasters. Let's move on to the actual gear. So my load bearing gear for this event was this tactical belt setup. It's pretty bare bones. The main goal was just to get me to look kind of the part, so everything's a little hodgepodgey, nothing, I didn't really want anything to match. And I wanted it to support a couple options because I didn't know how my blasters would hold up. Starting around the right side, we have this old military surplus pouch of some variety, which I use as my ammo pouch. I carried the shells for the lever gun, which I grabbed. Ah, yes, I put them in here. I carried the fly point shells for the lever gun in here. I was an NPC, so I could have as much ammunition as I wanted, but talking to the game runners, they all wanted me to have about 10 rounds on me at any time, so I usually had 10 to 15 rounds on any given time. But this is where my ammunition was. A good thing to note was I was one of, I think, 2, maybe 3 people running exclusively half darts at the event. And so if people wanted to loot me and loot ammunition, I wouldn't actually reach in and give them a shell or a half dart because most likely their blaster wasn't modded to use half darts. And so I would usually just say, hey, go to the store, tell the crazy guy sent you to go pick up some ammunition. They looted off of him. That is that first pouch. Nothing much around the back so I could sit down in chairs, but I do have my blaster parts dump pouch. I love how compact this folds up into, and it's very easy to deploy. It's a great size dump pouch. I highly recommend this bit of kit. Further around, we have this kind of admin just sack pouch, and this is where I kept all my in-game items. Any MacGuffins I had, any stim packs or chems I had, any caps, went in this pouch. I never had much on me at any given time. Luckily, again, I was an NPC. I didn't need mass numbers of caps. But it was really nice to just have one point to deal with all that, especially when it came to being an NPC and being looted. The rules kind of say give a random piece of loot, but it kind of leaves it up to you so you can pick and choose what you give people. I just had a one grab bag of everything, so I would just reach in and grab the first thing my fingers hit. Around here we have this, I think it's just a military surplus double M4 pouch with my iPro in it at the moment. Just work glasses, wear these all the time for wars, they're amazing. What I ended up doing for this pouch, the reason I put it on the belt was, again, I wasn't sure if the lever gun was going to survive, so I wanted the capability of carrying magazines in case I picked up like my Strifle Mark II or my Alpha Trooper or something, just as alternative blasters I had on me. That didn't happen, so what I ended up doing was folding the flap in to the pouch and using it as a cup holder. A can of soda will fit in here just fine, or a water bottle fits great. And so I had a cup holder because usually I run a Camelback, and I wasn't this event. The only other bit of gear I have to talk about is, come here, my MOLLE panel and holster. My red flashlight is in there right now, and at night I would take out, hold on, I'll drop this. The only other gear I have to talk about is my MOLLE panel and holster. It houses my red flashlight, which is a white LED flashlight, but just with some layers of packing tape and some red Sharpie, it's really easy to make a red light flashlight. And at night, I would actually take some athletic tape and tape this to the handguard of the lever gun because, I mean, if I was walking around the wasteland at night, I was probably going to get attacked by something. So that was handy. This is just a pretty cheap MOLLE panel and holster duo. I'm pretty sure I got it on Amazon. Again, if I can find the links, they'll be in the description. I've gone through and sewn the kind of drop leg lead here to be short. That's because I like more of a MIG-draw holster, and that was a really easy thing to do. This, of course, just clips onto my belt here just under my ammo pouch here and hung on my right thigh as I am right-handed. And overall, this load-bearing belt setup worked really well. It was comfortable, it was not very heavy for the weekend, and I wore it pretty constantly, so I'm really happy with the way it worked out. All right, on to the ancillary bits. So the last bit of gear I want to talk about is this, my current GoPro filming mount. As a note, I'm going to be changing this up, especially for wars and stuff, because it will not work with a plate carrier. This is just a shoulder GoPro mount by, I think it's pronounced Trazener or Trailzener or something like that. Again, I know I can find that on Amazon, so there'll be a link in the description. It has one strap that runs under your arm it's sitting on, and then one that goes across your chest. And it's very comfortable. I will say I don't have any complaints about the comfort of this rig. However, it wasn't very stable, and that might be that I didn't have it adjusted properly. This was my first time using it, but for those of you who have gone and seen my after action report, there was not much game footage in there because most of the game footage I got was of the ground. This whole mount would just kind of shift forward like to there on my shoulder and just shoot nothing but like my jaw and the ground. So you had some great footage of some dirt in my hands, and that's not what I wanted. However, I do like it, so I'm gonna mess with it and see if I can get it to work better. Because for Fallout LARP games, it works amazing. Especially aesthetic wise, and the camera angle I like is great, but it's just getting it to be more stable. But we'll work on it, because I would love to get more game footage and working on it. The one last bit I had, and I'm sorry if this messes up my microphone, was this shamog. I just tied it over, and this is what I use to denote my NPC character. Sorry, microphone. I hope you can hear me, but I just threw it over like this. It gave a very visible denotion of, hey, I'm in that character now. Instead of throwing on like a red bandana or something being a raider, or when I would take it off and be out of game. And I think it just brought the whole look of the character kind of together. It was also very helpful because it is basically a big rag, so when I did get sweaty, I could just use it to wipe down my face. So guys, I hope this was a good video. It was an enjoyable video. I really like doing these gear videos and hope I can get to more events and therefore make more of these videos in the future. If you want to see more of these, let me know in the comments, or, you know, go support me on Patreon and let me know there. I love talking to y'all over on Patreon. That being said, of course, if you do really want me to get to more events, the best way to do that is to support the channel. Whether that's just hitting that subscribe button, getting some merch from the Teespring, or again, joining that Patreon. Let me know down in the comments what video you want to see next. Is there something on the wall that I haven't covered, or are you dying to see more content on this blaster, or just let me know. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.